Your Humanities Half-hour is brought to you by the Northern Marianas Humanities Council.
Hafadades and Tiro, welcome to Your Humanities Half-hour. I'm Catherine Perry. Today we're going to hear excerpts from a panel presentation during the 2019 Humanities Month in the Marianas. The panel, Amalawal Mwaliliil Refaluwasch, showcases efforts in the community to preserve, protect, and promote the use of the Refalùwash language in the Marianas. We'll hear first from John Tagabuel, the Executive Assistant for the Carolinian Affairs Office.
Hello, Lebong Mamay, everyone. Thank you all for making time to be here with us tonight as we present and talk about the survival of our Refalùwash language, Amalawal Mwaliliil Refaluwasch. According to studies and survey conducted by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, they found that an estimated of 7,099 distinct languages are all over the world. Of that, 18.5%, or a third of that number, comes from the Pacific, which is 1,313. Our Pacific region consists of 200 islands. Carolinian language was born from several languages in the Carolinian language continuum due to a century of migration from the Carolina Islands to the Northern Marianas Island. Carolinian is the most closely related dialect to Satwalis, Walayans, Pulwatis languages. Nowadays, Carolinian is changing quickly due to Western influence, which has dominated Micronesia since World War II. In 2010 census, they reported 2,446 Carolinians were counted and recorded. There are a small percentage of Carolinian children left on Saipan who can confidently speak Carolinian language. So I have with me both my program coordinator and office manager to also share on what efforts our office has been doing since 2014 to present. So first I introduce our program coordinator under the ANA grant, Ms. Patricia Kapileo, and also Ms. Vivian.
So we would like to share with you what the Carolinian Affairs Office is. And it was an office that was created by mandate of Article 3, Section 18 of the CNMI Constitution. And in those, a few of those provisions is to advise the governor on matters affecting persons of Carolinian descent, review application of government policies, and availability of quality of government services for persons of Carolinian descent, investigate complaints and conduct public hearings regarding matters affecting persons of Carolinian descent, and may at any time require information in writing or otherwise with respect to matters affecting persons of Carolinian descent from the officers of any administrative department, office, or agency of the Commonwealth. So with this, we derived with a mission and vision for the office. And our mission is to develop programs and provide services to protect, promote, and preserve the welfare, culture, and traditions of the indigenous Carolinians. And we envision an empowered Carolinian community who recognize their indigenous rights as set forth by their culture, the Constitution, and laws, and who proudly exhibit their culture by speaking the language and practice their customs and traditions. So since the establishment of the Carolinian Affairs Office, we have, in our efforts to promote and preserve our language, there has been annual Cultural Heritage Month celebrations, cultural and language symposiums, newsletters, monthly concerts where they sing traditional songs and they're explained. The chants are explained, or where all those music comes from, or the dances that are contemporary, how they derive to be contemporary today. And then we have Bible translations into Refalùwash, encourage and support bilingual and immersion programs, work and support NGO activities and programs on the promotion and preservation of language, and the Refalùwash program, which Agatha is gonna talk about.
So the Refalùwash Caring for our Carolinian Culture Program is a program made possible by ANA grants. So through all the, can I speak Refalùwash? Relalangal activities kay halferi me Carolinian Affairs Office, Refalùwash, Refalùwash, nge layman teachers, layman instructors, rahal kasal Refalùwash ngelir live students.
So as we continue to develop these programs, we have gone through some challenges. So what we plan to do is to overcome the challenges that we are having, is to bring back village meetings, constant media appearances, social media and website accesses, conduct a language survey to be distributed to all members of the Carolinian community to determine current understanding of how people view the value of language, determine the number of speakers, and I believe that the 5 pillars have done one of that. Create a language expert log where we have a native language teachers directory, develop policies in support of the survival of the Refalùwash language as an official language, advocate for policies to support the revitalization and its maintenance, encourage the dialogue in Carolinian, and work with MVA or DPO to encourage establishments providing entertainment to include Refalùwash performances. And these are, to name a few of our goals.
Up next is Patricia P. Kapileo. She has been Program Director of the Leliyal Akkabwung Language Immersion Program in the CNMI public school system.
Diro, Bejoami me Lemongali Malgami, me Felix. Ibo Tungarhilisongali, Estepartoto Albungilian again, Mr. Welch, Baurik Welch, Emile Tepingham, Le Ayoraya Slapi Bobo, Atulmorataka, Carmel Elementary, Mille, Caterly. Sibra project yan, Leliyal Akkabwung Language Immersion Project, Akkabwung Elementary School. This the 2016 Tori June 4, 2019. I graduated the second set of immersion students. Kindergarten siya bili yorlan. May moduli ayali 50-50. Which is English and math is ongoing. Probably English and math. Puli ka, ibal your teskar ki buhilan as they move to the grade levels. 50% of the time, sibra with social studies, science, fine arts, PE. Technology, computer, abungir yatlal kasar Refalùwash me kasar ralis. Lal klasi Refalùwash ngayor sih yat relal lal klasi ralis ngay sih me liman relal. Evaluate metaya the website. They will create as one of the activities of the project. Miss Bao Valentina Rivers, Shady Hamamlan, Garong Tolong Lan, it's libmycnmi.com. Your part of our goal is to collaborate with Tufe. Tufe Ratolong Brabungiriat, Sibraferil Mungo, Gere Kel, Gere Storia. Gere Pai Iwe also collaboration ngali agencies ka your Walfale, Carolinian Affairs Office, Indigenous Affairs Office, DCCA, Walakeo, Office Ilmeya, Yom Milay Bahal Ferry by Bavungur Rayat, Sibrabo Brew World lessons every 1 quarter and twice a month. I had more yet to the historic sites, tourist sites, Borato, Bala, Akkabwung, Yang, Set, Mal, Alangal Mikawal Fale, Bala, he's so successful project yet, where yet Kartolula, your atwe from 1 to 10, Ashesha, Emwalepo Refalùwash. Your atakwe madrabo understanding is marab kapas. Bulletin yel Syria tabo mutual program yel rahi pick up li. Now they understand madrab kapasihus rahi comprendila. What more ngere sibala la foshela 3rd grade where plano initial plan ebo rabuayo rang ali balakya nagakon funding me to do a longitudinal study with a small group. I plano where at least just Ganman Elementary School 1st to 3rd grade and get data hikat ebala continue on. Ibal hima where ileta ibal Ulala Yarahira Kilibwe introduced Lilong Congress Bayorai Salapi. It's 20 million for 5 years. Bayorai Immersion early learning projects or education.
We're listening to excerpts from the panel presentation Amalawal Mwaliliil Refaluwasch, showcasing efforts in the community to protect, preserve, and promote the use of the Refalùwash language in the Marianas. We'll be back with more after this break.
Did you know that you can donate up to $5,000 to the Humanities Council through the CNMI Education Tax Credit Program? Donations from individuals and corporations qualify and can be used to offset your local wage and salary tax, BGRT, and earnings tax. Call our office at 235-4785 to see how you can support humanities programs in our community and obtain a tax credit for your donation. Sizuus Maasi, Olomai, and thank you.
Returning now to our panel presentation. Up next is the Executive Director of the Chamorro-Carolinian Language Policy Commission, Melvin Faisao.
Afade and Tiro. Faisao. The Chamorro-Carolinian Language Policy Commission was established by Public Law 3-26 as an independent agency. With that, I will not talk much about the mission because I believe Mr. Leo Pangilinan has shared our vision. With that, note also that most spoken languages in the world, English is the third after Mandarin, Chinese, and Spanish. But English is the most commonly spoken second language in the world and evidently in the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Island. And it is also part of official language in the CNMI. English is the most common language used on the internet. As accessibility to digital world expand, so too will the spread of English as second language. This will impact all languages, but those languages already endangered will be the most severely impacted as young people become fluent in the language of the internet and not their mother tongue or indigenous languages. The impact will be compounded through the future generation of our indigenous people. With that said, I take this opportunity to steal from Mr. John Tagabuel and share with everyone that many indigenous languages are endangered globally at the rate of loss is estimated at one language every 2 weeks. According to the UNESCO Atlas of World Languages in Danger, today,
a third of the world language have fewer than 1,000 speakers left. Every 2 weeks, a language dies with its last speaker. 50 to 90% of them are predicted to disappear by the next century. Furthermore, the UNESCO established that between 1950 and 2010, 230 languages went extinct. Based on what I've stated, the Chamorro-Carolinian Language Policy Commission shared that it's not entirely due to the encroachment of the digital world. The root of the decline lies within the majority of our Senamay population who speaks English as a first or second language due to strict, often oppressive language policies implemented by the United States after World War II and to present. This practice led to the indigenous language of our country becoming diminished in their use throughout our Senamay, as well as the fact that majority of the media in our country is presented in English and is compounded by demographics and internet. The vision with my action plan was to have families in the Senamay to be socially and culturally enriched on the Chamorro and Carolinian languages. Our mission is to strengthen, promote, and preserve the native languages. Our first goal is to increase organizational capacity, and that deals with mostly funding. Our goal number 2 is to improve delivery of program and services. And we continue to do translation, services for government, Department of Public Land, DEQ, Commerce, Mayor's Office, CHCC, and community outreach events, as well as doing interpretation for court services. Goal number 3 is to increase public awareness. And I hope that our congressman will hear our plea that we need funding in order for our division to viably play out its role on our language programs. And with that, I would like to conclude, and I would like to take credit to this unknown author who imparts that language is intrinsic to the expression of culture as a means of communicating values, beliefs, and customs. It has an important social function and fosters feeling of group identity and solidarity. It is the means by which culture and its tradition and shared values may be conveyed and preserved. With closing, language is the umbilical cord of arts and culture.
We'll be hearing next from Felix Rabauliman. He's a music teacher at Hopwood Junior High School.
I'm sure you've heard that before. Maybe you've even accidentally said it. But municipality is the word, right? It's the phrase. Municipality.
And they say
but they say municipality a lot. And I see it from young all the way to some of the teachers. That's how diluted it's been getting. Just from that little phrase, I got so annoyed. And as a music teacher, I had to make sure that when I printed out my lyrics to teach that song, those were the only lyrics in bold capital letters. How many of my generation is speaking the language, both Chamorro or Carolinian? It's way, 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 way diluted. So even in my staff alone, I'm very lucky that I have coworkers who still speak Carolinian, and very strongly, and who still speak Chamorro. But we're all teaching everything in English. Is Carolinian an official language of the CNMI? Are we allowed to use Carolinian to teach our subject? I was just venting to them, and I was letting them know, I said, what would happen if we could accommodate or compensate these teachers who teach their subject, their respective subject, science, math teachers, whatever they are, be it their Chamorro, be it their Carolinian, if they taught their subject in Carolinian, in Chamorro, and not forced, but basically put that as the real immersion of whether you're Chinese, whether you're Filipino, whatever you speak, I'm going to show you how to do math in Carolinian. Okay? Whether it means I'm going to speak at 2 miles an hour, you know what I mean? Well, 5 words per minute, you know. Using that language in that way has not been used yet. And the reason why I'm saying it is because time is running out. Once the generation goes below me, less people can do that. And under, we're running out of time. That's why I'm glad I'm sharing this in front of you guys, because hopefully you guys are the ones that can help me make this come true. If we, let's say we have a Carolinian bilingual, right? In 1st grade to 6th grade, only taught them survival Carolinian. Survival, how to ask to use the restroom, how to do this, how to do that, how to do this. We gotta teach them only verbally from 1st to 6th grade. What kind of students would you get in 7th grade? I think you would get fairly fluent speakers in 7th grade. Maybe slang, maybe not proper. We can't ask for proper yet because they're not speaking anything. Once in 7th grade, you're gonna get fairly fluent speakers, right? If it's survival all the way. Then you show them the written language, which, you know, it's new. You show them the written language. They already know how to read in English. Maybe they might get grammatical errors, but I guarantee you they can answer every question on a written Carolinian test. Do you agree with me? Thanks so much, and let's save the future, please.
We've been listening to Felix Rabauliman, a music teacher at Hopwood Junior High School. And last but not least on our panel, we will hear from Tom Tebuteb, retired educator and former secretary of the Department of Community and Cultural Affairs.
I remember in my PSS times, we had a major gathering of students, Chamorro students, from San Antonio, San Roque, San Vicente, about 200. And I was told to speak Carolinian. I did. By the time I was done, I asked questions and nobody knew what I said. Except Dr. Underwood, who was there, and he goes, "Our fans you talk to CNMI. You keep criticizing us, Guamanians and Hawaiians, that we're losing it. You're going down that same road, Chelu. And here we are, 40 years later, as a CNMI. And yes, individually, our language is very important. System-wide, I'm part of the problem too. System-wide, it is not as important. And I say this from experience over the past decades that I was with PSS. But nonetheless, I was fortunate enough to be at Tanapak as a school principal. And of the 200 students that were enrolled, I, with the community and the faculty and staff, made sure that each and every student went through Chamorro and Carolinian courses, because it was a very homogeneous community, and the dialect was different. To the Tanapak people, it was important for them to learn what some of their parents had lost. So to me, I was personally involved with that. And by the end of my tenure, I was seeing Caucasian students, Oriental students, singing and dancing in Carolinian. So I wanted to share that share my defiance to the Board of Education. I did it for the sake of at least making a notch in doing something for your language. Secondly, I know we all know the song, the CNMI anthem. We know it's a long story. We know the melody's not ours. The lyrics are thanks to the individuals who were involved in that. I mean, when I came back in the 80s, the anthem wasn't really sung system-wide. It was basically those who know with good voices and all that. So in my tenure as a social studies program manager and working with the schools and the teachers, at the very least we made a big, not your small pamphlets, but it was big posters for all the social studies teachers to post it. And from there to all the schools. And from there, I carried on with the flag ceremonies, which I've sung every week for the longest time. So I was a little happy in helping along that route. So those are my points that I want to share, and also end with a phrase, an nagging question really that has always been asked of us, and this was from a traveling professor, University of Chicago, Harvard graduate, Dr. Batanzas, who came out years on in, and he goes, "Man, I love your beaches. They're so nice. Nice hotels, traffic lights, even nice golf courses. But where is your heart and soul?" And that response could be that, yes, the umbilical cord to our customs and traditions is our language. But why is it that only a few of us talk about it, and then the system doesn't necessarily agree with it as a board policy? And I say that from experience. But given the advent of modern technology and all that, it's not necessarily bad. I think there's a need to bridge the gap and combine what modern technology has to offer with all native speakers. Because by the end of the day, the way you retain your language from here forth onward is to be you yourself, to be confident in yourself, to know who you are, what you are, where you've been, where you are now, and where you're going. Because when you have a high self-esteem of you knowing that I'm a Carolinian, yes, I didn't go to the bilingual program, but I can speak it, and I know my place, and I need to tell the young folks to just combine. There's nothing wrong with technology, as we seem to say. I, for one, just because I'm a dinosaur, but we can combine that efforts along the way. Last point is, when Leliyal was starting out, there were a lot of critics. Oh, we're going to build it. Oh, you can't build it. And they did. Oh, we're going to sell it. They couldn't sell it. And they did sell it. But the qualifier was thanks to Micronesia, thanks to our great Grandmaster Navigator Marianas, because the canoe is a very critical element of our culture. For thousands of years, it's still Amara, it's still Dept, it's still, they haven't changed. So there's a need to bridge that, have that model, bring all the students. dare the humanities to ask the questions to the college, to the schools, why we say it's important, but it's getting limited attention. So with that, it is so true.
Our presentation today has been excerpts from the panel presentation Amalawal Mwaliliil Refaluwasch, a panel discussion on efforts in the community to protect, preserve, and promote the use of the Refalùwash language in the Marianas. If you would like to see the full presentation, we invite you to check out the Northern Marianas Humanities Council Facebook page. Also, if you'd like to hear more of our show, Your Humanities Half-hour, please subscribe to their YouTube channel. This has been Your Humanities Half-hour. I'm Catherine Perry.
This program was supported by a We the People grant awarded to the Northern Marianas Humanities Council from the National Endowment for the Humanities. Any views, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily represent those of the National Endowment for the Humanities or the Northern Marianas Humanities Council.